Hey everyone, welcome to Happy Gaijin. Ninja Monkey, Happy Gaijin. I know it's a little bit of a last minute stream, but we're all good. We've survived halfway through the week, which is great news. For those of you who are new or might be watching this on the replay, I'm Nathan, Happy Gaijin, also mostly known as Ninja Monkey on my main channel. This is my second channel, stroke streaming, stroke casual channel. And why do I do this? Because I honestly enjoy helping people, chatting with people, and I feel like I've made a good connection with some of you, and I love hearing what you have to say. And if you're watching me, you must be because you like what I have to say too. As always, this is all about Japan, travel generally, and other topics. It doesn't just have to be Japan. Happy Gaijin is more a channel about me, if that makes any sense, and Ninja Monkey is more a channel about Japan. That's the theory behind it. Anyway, I'm very close to 1,000 subs on this channel, so if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. I'd like to reach 1,000 before my next trip in 7 weeks. I think we can do it. I think we should be able to do it. Next 7 weeks we can hit 1,000 subscribers, which would be awesome. And for those of you who have no idea what sort of content I make travel Japan update videos, but I would say that I'm probably the OG of update videos. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there's somebody out there that did update videos before me. I'm not very sure. But other than that, I've been swaying my channel more into Ninja Monkey, into tips, itineraries, and I want this channel to be the channel for Japan planning tips, etc. So I've been really working hard on that kind of content. And here on Happy Gaijin, I do a weekly stream on Wednesdays. And when I'm in Japan, this is the channel I mainly stream from in real life. Anyway, let's see who's here. What's up? Only one night. Thank you so much for being here. Much appreciate your support, as always. Bojo, hey Bojo. Grant, hey Grant. Nice to see you. Dying Ghoul is in the house. How did you feel, Dying Ghoul? I was a bit shocked with that poll that I did in Ninja Monkey. Very split like result, and I wasn't expecting Shinjuku to be so low down. Hey Saika, how are you doing? Nice to have you here on this channel also. I love that you guys actually end up coming from one channel to the next, like one big happy family. Ari Escapades, good evening, how are you doing? Thanks for being here. I don't think I've seen your name before. Shall we continue the Kawaguchiko Lawson debate? Of course we can. This is what it's all about. Any questions, any debates? I've had a lot of this Kawaguchiko debate about the Lawsons and the Mount Fuji has really Hey Whitey! Yes, this channel is my tiny channel, and my big channel is Ninja Monkey. So yeah, and yeah. Anyway, hey everyone, go wander down under, and awesome. So Dying Ghoul says, shall we continue the debate about Kawaguchiko? Of course we can. I think it's a very interesting one, and it's actually one that has led me to shifting my opinion in the last month or so. Not shifting my opinion, but it's made me go through a lot of a thought process of tourism in Japan and what it means for Japan and what it means for tourists. And I think I've come to the conclusion that Japan wants tourists to act like Japanese people, but that's never going to happen, and Japan is going to be unhappy as long as they expect tourists to behave in the same way as Japanese people. Tourists go to Japan, they spend 1 week, they spend 2 weeks maybe, and that time frame, 1 week, 2 week time frame, is a very short amount of time to expect people to change their behaviors. Now, that's not to say that tourists shouldn't behave decently. I am a firm believer that tourists should not be scribbling on 1,000-year-old temples and littering just for the sake of it. But there are certain things that tourists do that I would give a pass. Like even the jaywalking to a certain point. I don't think tourists should throw litter on the floor. Sitting and eating outside in certain areas, those are things that people are used to pretty much everywhere all around the world. And I know that Japan is Japan, and the argument is going to be, Japan is Japan and unique for a certain for that reason. But when you start attracting the multitude of tourists that you are attracting, you need to shift focus a little bit. And I really do feel that Japan needs to find the middle ground now. They are aiming to hit 60 million followers YouTube followers, no, 60 million tourists entering by 2030. And there's a few simple things that need to happen, and they are sort of happening in some areas. But trash cans, bins, they need to become more widely available, especially around tourist locations. Don't complain. Don't complain about tourists throwing trash. They shouldn't. I get it, but don't complain about that if you don't you don't have anywhere for them to throw. And I know that people are going to say take it back to the hotel, but that's just not normal behavior, generally. Like that, there's a lot of little things that need to be adjusted, that need to be done. The shift has to come from Japan, I think, unfortunately, in this case. I would love to know your thoughts on this. It's something that I have really, really been thinking about this a lot. So, and in terms of the town that should reverse the course as soon as possible, it's been covered internationally and only sheds a negative light on how to handle tourists. This is a problem. This is exactly why this has made me think deeply into the situation. A lot of research, a lot of deep thoughts, and also as a tourist, returning tourist, always returning to Japan. I'm not very sure if they should reverse the course. However, I definitely agree that it was handled completely incorrectly. Instead of showing the world that Japan is progressive and forward-thinking and implementing and putting in infrastructure to cope with tourism, they're sort of sending the message that it's our fault, tourists' fault, which partly it is. But if the infrastructure isn't in there, now the thing with this specific location is that it's not supposed to be a tourist location. That's the argument. The argument is that the Lawson is not supposed to be a tourist location. It's supposed to be just a normal konbini. And the argument is that the reason why they've done what they've done is mostly for safety concerns. I believe that just a few weeks ago, before they made the announcement, somebody was run over. And I've been there, and I was just there in December. I think I was there in December, and yeah, and basically it was a bit of a free-for-all. It was a bit of a mad experience. I totally understand. The people were on the road, that it was a little bit unsafe, but I agree with Diane Gold. They should have just implemented and put some infrastructure in there to send a different message. The narrative is either one, foreigners are a nuisance, or two, the Japanese are unwelcoming and can't manage tourism. Yeah, I agree, and I think that and I've been saying, and if you've been watching this channel for a while, since the whole tourism debate came up, one of the things that I've been mentioning a lot for the last probably the last 2 or 3 years, is how I feel that Japan, the infrastructure just hasn't caught up. They are trying to do things now, but they've been a little bit slow in adapting, and now they just can't cope, and they don't know how to deal with certain things. So, bad for Gujiko and Japan more broadly. But then again, Daingol, there's a lot of things happening around the world that are very similar in a way. For example, in I think it's in Mykonos, or maybe in Majorca or Ibiza, or one of these Mediterranean islands, they have implemented strict no drinking in the street rules, with big fines for tourists who were littering, who were causing causing problems with the locals, etc. You can still drink, but there are now incredibly strict drinking rules. In the same way as Venice has banned cruise ships from porting in Venice, in Italy, Venice has also implemented a tourist tax for entry between certain times. Hotels are being tenants in hotels, or those who are staying in hotels within certain areas like Barcelona, other countries around Europe which have huge numbers of tourists are also implementing all sorts of things, curfews, etc., etc. So it isn't just about Japan. However, it's the fact is how Japan has done it. Hey Rank, thanks for being here. A lot of frustrations I hear are frustrating to tourists also. I don't like riding packed buses in Kyoto. I don't like carrying around trash because the bins near a vending machine are full. Yeah, this is definitely frustration for tourists and for locals. Now, Kyoto has or should have started. I haven't been to Kyoto since they've implemented this, but they are about to, or they have just started a new bus system, which is for tourists to get to the main locations. So that's a good thing. My experience is the following. I'm going to be totally honest. The first time I went to Kyoto was 2014. First time. I've been to Kyoto probably 15 times since then. I don't know, loads of times. many times to Kyoto. And I can tell you that the last time I went to Kyoto was last summer. So July, August 2023. And the first time I went was 2014. And there was very little infrastructure improvements for tourists. And tourists have quadrupled or even more in the time from 2014 to now. Very little. And I'm talking about simple things. And I say this all the time. Tourist locations, and yes, I know that temples are places of religious places or spiritual places, but they are tourist locations also. They close very early. Certain locations, certain attractions, certain things close very early. They close at 5 p.m. Last entry 4 p.m. Now Hiroshima has actually taken into account how tourism is changing, and what they've done in the Peace Memorial Museum is they've extended the opening hours, I believe, by 2 hours, I believe it is, or maybe by an hour, and they've extended it only to e-ticket holders, meaning that you can actually go online and you can actually purchase an e-ticket, and you can actually access the Peace Memorial Museum for an extended amount of, at an extended hour, not just closing at 5 p.m. The same with opening earlier. These are the things that need to change for tourists. Tourists don't need to change for Japan. That is what I have started to come to realize. Tourists have to obviously behave. They need to be respectful. They need to mind their manners and look around them. And obviously, if everybody's quiet, you need to be quiet. If everybody's sort of, like queuing up, you need to queue up. I'm not saying anything other than that. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to certain practices in the tourist industry, Japan is the one that needs to change, not the other way around. Tourists, it's going to be very difficult to expect a tourist who's only in Japan for 2 weeks, potentially some for even 1 week or 10 days, to change the way that they behave 100% completely. There are certain things that are easy to change. There are just some other behaviors that are very difficult to change as much as you want them to. I'd like to know your thoughts on this. In the West, if a tourist were flooding your town, step one is to figure out how to make money. Yes, this is exactly the truth. Yeah, the problem. Not shut it down. Lazy thinking. If I go to Kyoto these days, I stick to trains, subways, streetcars, or just walk. I think that as a tourist in Kyoto, for anybody who's thinking of going to Kyoto, there is a strategy to Kyoto. And I know that the very first time You sort of want to do things a certain way, the bus system, etc. The strategy with Kyoto is a lot of walking, B, actually using taxis for certain distances. For example, getting you up to the top of the hill area, and walking down and then getting the bus, etc. You need to plan things a little bit differently for Kyoto for it to work. If you're going to use the buses all the time, yes, you can get around, but there's a little bit more waiting. They can be a little bit more packed, etc. Deglobalizing. Kyoto is an interesting transportation system. I agree. The train subway system in Kyoto is not nearly as extensive as other big cities. They have a relatively good bus system. Even though the bus system is relatively busy, they have a relatively good bus system, which is quite reliable. Even with Google Maps, the bus system is quite reliable in Kyoto. But yeah. Hey, we have a super chat. Awesome. And thank you so much. Jim is in the house. Hey, can I even do this? Wait a minute. Hey, look what I found. I don't know if you can see, it's a cowboy emoji. I don't know, it's a bit blurry, but Japan's government, like all governments, go to the same public management policy schools. They all follow the same ideas. When these policies, which have failed everywhere, they've been tried, politicians just hope the new rules work. Politicians want to do things their way, and they don't realize that actually, they need to be asking. In a way, they should be setting a poll and surveying tourists. I know that every single poll is to locals. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? But really, the satisfaction of the tourists is also equally as important and can actually help build infrastructure and policies, etc.
Japan's government, like all governments, go to the same.
Okay, sorry about that. Kyoto's always been a mess. You can blame the post-war Showa building boom down tight, ugly, unorganized, brutalist architecture bang up beside historic buildings with transportation as a total afterthought. But I think that this is a thing with tourism in a way in Japan. I feel that let's attract 60 million people. But then, the afterthought is, what do you do with those 60 million people? Hey, Tommy, how are you doing? Thanks for being here. Similar to the marketing material you made in Japan whilst the border was closed, is Japan still aggressively marketing places other than Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka? If so, I rarely see it. Yes, and this is an interesting thing that I've noticed. Only one night. What I've noticed actually is that Japan actually does market some of the other locations, but they do it. I feel that a lot of the train posters and billboards that are telling you to go up to Tohoku or telling you to go elsewhere, they seem to be targeting the wrong audience. They seem to be targeting the Japanese local people, which actually to be honest, make up a lot more than Western tourists. Don't forget that Western tourists are just a tiny little sliver of the total amount of tourists. But still, they don't seem to be targeting us for sure. How do I know this? Because the majority of those posters and billboards are in Japanese, the majority of them. And you will see some pamphlets and billboards, etc., in train stations, especially in the JR East travel centers. There will be some promotional stuff there. But when it comes to navigating and being around Japan, being around the train stations in Tokyo, the platforms, etc., all around Japan, I honestly see a lot of Japanese propaganda for other locations that are not in English. So Dying Goal, I met up with Jim. It was awesome in Japan. I know some beaches in Thailand will be closed to tourists this year, so sad. Yeah, that's a little bit different though. Rider, I believe that I mean, obviously tourism has a big big say in this. But I believe that in Thailand, the reason that some of the beaches are closing is an environmental impact thing. I know that Maya Bay was closed for a few years so that the coral and the marine life, etc., could sort of, you know, come back. And I think that that they've established that certain areas in Thailand, certain marine areas need rest, they need rest from people just so that the marine life can sort of stay alive. They act like they entitled children in Japan. Interesting. Back in Pennsylvania. Wow, wow, wow. Guys, if you're watching, there's 19 of you watching, and I don't know how many of you are actually have actually liked the video, but if you haven't liked the video or liked the stream, please like the stream. And if you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe, because subscribing is really what the game of YouTube is. Try to convince your viewers to subscribe. It's the hardest thing in the world, I swear. If you look at all my other videos, whenever I make content, I can see my analytics, and I have quite a lot of people, something like 70% of people that watch my videos that are not subscribed, and only 30% of my viewers are usually subscribed. It's difficult to get people to convince to subscribe, so that's your friendly reminder about subscribing to the channel. How's the planning going? Any additions to the plan? Well, typical me, Douglas, typical me. I'm actually right now looking at flights for October, and I haven't really, well, I've got my itinerary for the summer, but I haven't got specific plans. I'll tell you some of the plans that I have, but I would like to return in October. But at the moment, the flights that I'm looking at are between 300 and 400 pounds too expensive. I have a budget. Why can I go to Japan so often? People ask me all the time. I can go to Japan very often, number one, because I'm very, very, very good at my budget. I know what my flight has to be between this and this. My hotels have to be between this and this. I have a daily spending limit. I don't live like a poor man or anything, but I do have a budget. If I want to travel multiple times in Japan, I have to be like that. Obviously, your super chats, like Jim has just done, helps a hell of a lot. And I probably would be going one trip less a year for sure if I didn't have YouTube. So ad revenue helps, super chats, Patreon helps a hell of a lot also. All those things go into potentially, you know, looking at going on another trip, making more content, filming more, that sort of thing. And but I have been looking at October because I really enjoyed my time in October. It will be a very short trip, but at the moment those flights are just a little bit, and the thing is, I missed one yesterday. There was a flight that was perfect. It was in my budget. It was in the right layover time. Everything was perfect except for the layover was in Madrid airport, and it was only 1 hour and 20 minutes. And I thought, I'm going to go home. I'm going to research whether 1 hour and 20 minutes is enough. And then when I went back, it was gone, and everything is too expensive, or the layovers are too long. But I'll keep an eye. And as for my plans, I've got really good plans, very interesting and strange plans, because the very first week that I'm in Japan, in Tokyo, I'm going to be with some friends, some of my best friends from Gibraltar, which is awesome. I never get to do anything with anybody from Gibraltar in Japan. So they're going to be there. They arrive, I think, the day before me or 2 days before me. And I'm going to sort of take care of them for 4 or 5 days in Tokyo. They're there with kids, so it's going to be very different for me because it's a kids central 5 days, which means that we're doing the new Disney Sea Fantasy Springs, and then we'll do all the Odaiba things and that kind of thing. Obviously, we'll do some other stuff for during that duration. Then I'm sending them off to Kyoto, and I'm sending them off to Hiroshima. And whilst they're in Kyoto and Hiroshima, I'm actually going to Nagoya, spending a few days in Nagoya. Never been to Nagoya, believe it or not. And I'm going to be spending a few days there. I've got tickets for Ghibli Park, just to some of the, this is an example of where the money goes from YouTube and super chats. To be honest, you know, Ghibli Park is something that I'm interested in. It's nice, but it's not my top of priorities of things to do. But I know that I have a lot of questions and a lot of people asking about Ghibli Park. So I'm going to go, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to go have a great time in Ghibli Park, all access area sort of pass. And that way, when people ask, I have the experience and I can sort of tell you what it's all about, how to get the tickets, etc. Then I'm actually traveling to Ise Mie, Ise Shrine, spending a little bit of time there. Then I go and to Osaka. I meet up my friends in Osaka. They'll have returned from Hiroshima, and I'll meet them in Osaka. I'll give them a little tour of some of the things to do there with kids. And we've actually just today we've booked some Universal Studios Mario tickets. Again, why am I doing it? Because it's, first of all, because I'm with my friends, and I think it's the kind of thing that you do with friends, not by yourself. Although I went the last time I went on my own, and it was fun, but it's a good opportunity. Uh, and also Mario is it's sort of a lot of questions about Mario World, etc. So I can experience it and do it. Then I go back to Tokyo. I say goodbye to my friends, and I spend about 6 or 7 days in Tokyo. In which time it's going to be my birthday, so I'll organize something, I'm sure. From Tokyo, I fly to Okinawa, where I spend a few days in Okinawa. From Okinawa, I fly to Kyushu. I check out some of the prefectures. I think 2 or 3 of the prefectures in Kyushu that I hadn't actually done in my last trip. Fly back to Tokyo, spend a week or so in Tokyo. Again, just hanging out and doing whatever I feel like doing. Like, that's my slow down sort of time. From there, I go to some of the prefectures that are near Kanazawa. 2 of the prefectures that are near Kanazawa I've got forgotten now, and that will basically complete my trip. That will be my 10-year anniversary, by the way, and it will be also me completing all 47 prefectures in Japan. So by August this year, I would have completed all prefectures in Japan, and it would have been my 10-year anniversary of traveling for Japan, which is pretty sweet. That was a little bit long. I apologize. Any questions, let me know. What apps are you using to check flight prices? At the moment, I'm using booking.com, which I've never used before, but they have, I think, possibly the best search filter system I have ever seen in any website. I don't know if I would end up booking with them, but I've been using booking.com for flights just to check out the best sort of like the best layovers, etc. They have a really good system. And usually Expedia.com or Expedia.co.uk, which is what I use from the UK, is usually my go-to for flights. However, for example, my next flight, which is going to be in July, early July, to Tokyo via London, that I did directly with the airline. I did it directly with British Airways. I looked at Expedia, I looked at British Airways, and they were pretty much the same price, so I went with the airline. So sometimes it's a matter of getting an idea of what flight paths you can take, and then getting that information, going to the website of the airline and seeing what it's like. And a few little tips that you can do to try and get some better deals is, a lot of airlines, they partner. So for example, British Airways and JAL, they are partner airlines. Turkish Airlines and ANA, they are partner airlines, for example. And if you have a flight price flying with British Airways, you can look via the JAL website for exactly the same flight, and you might get different flight prices. You might get cheaper flight prices. So sometimes it's about knowing what the partner airlines are, checking through that partner airline, and seeing what the prices are like. So when I say that I can't find something that's within my budget right now, I mean it, because I know how to research my flights. Beer money, yay! Awesome, yeah. Oh my goodness, I didn't see that. Dude, dying goal with his beer money. Thank you. That is beer money to spend with dying goal, I hope. DG, dying goal. And maybe I can put a beer thingy. Yay, look, I can even put a beer mug. Haha, that is pretty cool. Arigato gozaimasu, dude. Yeah, so hopefully I can have a beer with you. Always not one beer with you though. Never just one beer. Essential. Never in Nagoya. The thing is that I'm not very sure I ever have been to Nagoya, so I'm going to Nagoya just in case. Because I have a Ikoka IC card. So why would I have an Ikoka IC card if I hadn't been to Nagoya? It's been 10 years of traveling through Japan. I've been to many places. Most of the places I have good memories of, but in Nagoya I just can't remember. But I do have an Ikoka card, IC card, which is the IC card of Nagoya, which leads me to believe that I've been to Nagoya, sorry. But better be safe than sorry. I'm hitting those 47 prefectures, so yeah, Ise looks pretty cool, and I'm taking it easy. I'm taking it easy. I'm spending 2 or 3 nights in the area, just because I've set myself a rule. Apart from one place, I think that I'm only one night. Every other location has to be a minimum of 2 or 3 nights. Because last year I did something like 23 or 24. I can't remember now. Hotels in 40 days, in 6 weeks, and it was a little bit too much for me. So this year I'm like, I've got it down to, I think it's 13 or 14 hotels in 6 weeks, which is still a lot, but it's nearly half the amount compared to last year. I can't go, but I need to send a surrogate to make content so I can virtually experience his adventures. Thank you. I can be that person. By the way, I do have a Coke Zero here. Yes, Dying Gull, 26th of July. I'm not sure if I'll do like a specific meetup for my birthday. I want to do a meetup at some point, probably in that week. Nathan, I think I may know a friend of yours who will demand a birthday celebration, including a cake. 100%. Last time she got me a cake, it was a nice surprise. Frisbee, I love the name, by the way. Frisbee. Hey, I just came back yesterday from my 18-day solo trip in Japan. Nice. Awesome. I always went left or right, away from the tourist spots. So amazing places without old people. Can't wait for my next trip. Everybody, take note, because as tempting as and this is the thing that I keep on saying, Tokyo, Kyoto, even Osaka, they sort of trick me into not wanting to leave, because everything is so convenient and my friends are there and that kind of thing. But the moment that I get out and I get to some of these places, I'm reminded of how amazing Japan is. So great job. That is so cool. Quite an accomplishment. You truly are the ultimate tourist. I know. Not yet. Not yet. Soon. Hopefully soon. I used Booking for all my hotels last trip. They usually get you a pretty good price too. Yeah, I've also been using Klook, by the way, for hotels. Surprisingly, I put the link there just in case anybody's interested in using my affiliate link for Klook, just to help the channel out. But Klook actually have relatively good hotel prices, very similar to Booking.com. Sometimes a little bit cheaper. The only thing is that the same as Booking.com and any other price comparison or price hotel booking sort of site, is that you need to be aware of the terms and conditions. Some places I've actually gone through Booking.com because they had hotels with better cancellation agreements compared to Booking.com. So it just depends. For me, it's, guys, I give you the options like Klook, for example, Sakura Mobile, if you're interested in getting a pocket Wi-Fi. But like I say, get what works for you. Get the best product for you. I just put these things as options for you to explore and check out. But ultimately, you do what's best for you. Don't worry about me, okay? But if you don't have nowhere and you have nothing planned, you might as well help me out. Is what I think. 18-day solo trip is awesome. From Houston, nice. Hook. Hey, Twitter is here. Cliff Dog has been on fire on the Discord. I have to say a big thank you for posting so much and some really useful information on there. So appreciate that. When in October, when you're trying to get, I'm going to be there in the first half and it'd be great to meet in person. Unfortunately, it will be the end of October. Unfortunately, it would be absolutely amazing to meet in person, obviously. The problem that I have, it's not a problem, really. It's a first world problem, you know. I have a lot of time off work, which is why I can go to Japan. But the time that I have off work is dictated on a calendar annually. So I am told between this time you have a week off. Between this time and this time you have 7 weeks off. Between this time you have 10 days off or whatever. I cannot choose any of my leave time, of my vacation dates. I am given them and I have to strictly keep to those vacation days. And they're very, very strict. So unfortunately for October, it would be arriving on the 23rd of October and leaving on the 2nd or the 3rd of November. Short trip, 1 week. That is what I'm aiming for if I can find the right price for my tickets. I'm considering not going to Kyoto. I just have to find places that are not as popular. I think that with everything, I know that people worry about over tourism and crowds and etc, etc, etc. I think it just depends on how you prioritize and what mindset you go to a place. Do not go to Kyoto thinking that it's going to be that idyllic place that you see in some people's vlogs, etc. Which is why I try to be, if you notice on my vlogs, I show the crowds, I show the people. I try to show people what the place is like, not like wait until there's nobody and take a quick video. There are certain times that maybe you want a shot with nobody in it, but ultimately, you know, show people the real location. But what I was going to say about places like Kyoto is that first of all, they are of historical value. It was one of the few places that was not basically bombed during World War II, and therefore it's a very beautiful city. It has some incredible sites which are going to be very, very busy with tourists, but that's not to say that if you go with the right mindset, knowing that it's going to be busy with tourists, that you can't enjoy the location. What I suggest is you still go to Kyoto, but maybe you don't make it the focal point of your trip. Some people go to Kyoto and they spend a week there, or they go between Kyoto and Osaka and they spend 10 days between Kyoto, Osaka, or whatever. My suggestion is spend 2 nights. See what you have to see. You're not going to be able to see everything. Choose the main bits, like I've mentioned many times. I think that ranking things makes a huge difference to a trip. Putting in order what you would like to see and only checking off the first 3 or 4. And if you have extra time going down the list is the best way to do things, and then move on. From Kyoto, you can go down to Hiroshima, which is a relatively good city, Miyajima, but not just Hiroshima the city, but the prefecture of Hiroshima. Onomichi is one of my favorite places in that area. So many things to do and see. Also, I do try to compare the rates on booking sites with those on the hotel's own websites. That's something that I don't tend to do a lot of. I have to admit. No, Ikoka no. Then it was Manaka. Manaka? Was it on Manaka? Manaka's card? Toika, that's it. I have a Toika card. That's what I'm talking about. I have a Toika card. I have the Nagoya card anyway, is what I'm saying. I can't remember now. A lot of hotels indeed. Overcast, light rain in Agobe, Mie today. You finished. How was Mie? Was it nice? I tell you something, yeah. I think that rain within reason in Japan is quite nice. Maybe after nights out with Dangle, your memory has been scrubbed. Most likely. I'm not sure if you saw the travel hack video I posted in Discord, but RatePank extension plus VPN works. Ooh, okay. I did not see that. Probably because you're in New Zealand, mate, and I am in the other side of the world, which probably means that you're a good 9 or 10 hours ahead of me. Meaning that you posted it and I was probably either sleeping or at work. But now that I know, and I do try to go back on my Discord and I sort of read on what people have said, but I don't tend to respond to many because it's just impossible, you know, and it doesn't make sense for me to respond to something 7 hours later, you know, in a conversation. But going to those places off the tourist radar makes the travel experience feel so much more unique. Yeah, and you know what? I was talking to Caroline, who's back from Japan. Talking to Caroline, incredible photos, by the way, like freaking ridiculously good photos on her Instagram. But I was talking to Caroline and was saying Chugoku area, which is like western Kansai area. I think, is that correct? Western Kansai? Chugoku area with Totori and those sort of areas. That area has a very special place in my heart because I feel that it had the perfect amount of adventure. It felt like the whole trip was off the tourist map. It was local trains, good local trains, some of them very far in between in terms of schedules, so you had to plan a little bit more carefully. But that trip was awesome. I really enjoyed that trip. Nathan, I'm sure you'll love Mie if you spend time in Ise Toba Agobe. For me, Mie is my number one of 14 prefectures. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to take that into consideration, obviously. Leaving next Wednesday, for Chuzenji and Mishima Shrine, 50th Japanese wedding anniversary, ending and Tokyo 1 week trip. Nice. Short, but nice. Hey, from the Canaries, are you kidding me? Javier, buenos días desde las Islas Canarias. Like when I listen to the radio here, because I live in Gibraltar. I'm from Gibraltar. Yo soy de Gibraltar. I live in Gibraltar. And whenever I listen to Spanish radio, they say the time is 4 p.m. 1 hour less in Canaries. La hora son la 1 de la tarde. 1 hora menos en las Canarias. Algo así. Hawk, any Wagyu restaurant you recommend in Tokyo that has reasonable prices? When it comes to restaurants, I keep on saying this in my channel, and that is that I find it very difficult to give recommendations other than the video that I just put out a few weeks ago about the top 5 like easy restaurants to visit, just because I am not the type of person who goes searching for restaurants or specifically goes to a restaurant. I'm the kind of person that, yeah, if I want to eat Wagyu, I'll go on Google Maps, I'll do a little bit of a search, I'll ask around when I'm there at the hotel, and maybe even at the tourist center, you can ask those questions too. Or even better, if you make an izakaya, which is near your hotel, your base izakaya, which is a big tip, I would say. If you're staying in one hotel for a few nights, try to stick to 1 or 2 izakayas every single evening, and that way you sort of start bonding with the people that are there. They usually are returnees most of the time. Try to keep away from izakayas or locations that are very touristy with lots of foreigners, because it's just not going to be helpful to you unless you're specifically looking for a partner to sort of travel with you. But I go to some izakayas for a few nights in a row, and I start talking to the bar person. Usually the same people come in, and eventually, and even from day one, you can ask questions like, hey, do you have a good sushi recommendation? Do you have a good Wagyu or beef recommendation? And on the Discord, there's actually a channel which is called Map Contributions. And on that, there's a shared map where you can actually look at other people's contributions on the map, and or you can actually add your own contributions to the map. So very useful there. Just walking around a quiet neighborhood with lots of machiya. Nice. Will be a great experience. I thought you were doing that now. Like what? On the first trip to Kyoto. Yes, I usually stay in Shimogyo ward when I go, and it's usually very quiet there. That's what I mean. You can do Kyoto. You can. Dangle, take care, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your super chat. Much appreciated. You work the graveyard shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. What do you do, by the way? Those hours. So we are actually closer in time when you might think. Yeah, a few times we've actually been. A few times, Cliff Dog, you've posted things, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, isn't this guy in New Zealand? Where in New Zealand are you, by the way? Caroline's photos were amazing. For Wagyu, the main thing is to ask where it came from and see its certificate. Yes and no. The thing, yes, I agree, but there's so many different types of Wagyu in Japan. For me personally, I love Hida beef. I've had Hida beef a few times in Takayama. If nobody's been to Takayama, you should definitely go. It's a top location. Although it's becoming a little bit popular, it's kind of becoming like the second Kyoto in a way, I'd say. But Hida beef in Takayama blew my mind and continues to blow my mind. Every time I go to Takayama, I've been 3 times to Takayama. And every time I've been, it's just been beautiful. Wow. Commercial cleaner. Okay, cool. Apparently, table log is good for restaurant reviews, as reviews from locals. Not tried it personally. Grant, what I would say is this is a big tip, and if you've noticed, I've started trying my best to use a community tab on YouTube. Putting some tips, just trying to interact with you guys and be a little bit more personal. And I put a poll there about top places in Tokyo. I know that I missed lots of places out, but I could only choose 4, so I went for the 4 that most people sort of mention. Then I put a little tip about Google Maps and using the advanced search, the advanced date search. A lot of people don't know about that, but I want to give you a little tip about restaurants in Japan, and that is this. And it's probably going to end up as a tip on the community tab, maybe even tomorrow if I can get myself together. But the tip is the following: if you want to search for a restaurant, learn the kanji of the cuisine or the type of food, or learn the Japanese, because if you were to search for sushi in Google Maps in Tokyo, you would get a good list of pinned sushi restaurants. However, if you were to search for exactly the same thing but in Japanese in kanji, you figure out on Google Translate and you write sushi in Japanese, your results will be different. Your result will be catered to the majority, to the Japanese audience, which personally I think is better. Also, those results will probably have far more ratings from Japanese people rather than Westerners. The star rating, so that can help, and actually even different listings altogether. You can use a combination of the both. Search for sushi in English, see what you get. Search for sushi in Japanese, see what you get. And that is my tip for the day. Stephen, how are you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hawke's Bay. I don't know where that is, but I'm going to look it up because it looks interesting. Arigato, you're very welcome, dude. You're very welcome. Grant, no problem. It's like I said, it's just one of those little things, and that doesn't just work for sushi. It works for everything, for any other type of You want to search for ramen, search for ramen in katakana. In Japanese, instead of writing ramen, write it in Japanese. and tonkotsu the same, curry the same. You're gonna get different things coming up. Is there a way to tell if a restaurant has applied a hidden gaijin tax? By asking. um, First of all, I think that within Tokyo, it's still very rare, and I know that a lot of hype, and even me, I've mentioned it, but even when I mention it in my update, I do say that it's rare. There's a few restaurants that have different prices for tourists than for Japanese, but I would say that those are like very, very rare and in very, very touristy locations. In terms of like cover charges, sometimes they charge you a little bit extra. That's common, and it's not just for tourists. I wouldn't say that it's a hidden gaijin tax. Those cover charges exist even for locals, so there's nothing special there. Whether or not they make certain places make the cover charge a little bit more expensive because they're in an area with lots of tourists, perhaps, I'm not sure. But the best thing you can do is you can just ask, is there a cover charge, or what is the cover charge? Usually a lot of the places will tell you, usually might even tell you on the door what the cover charge is. That's the main thing. In terms of anything hidden, if it's hidden, it's going to be very difficult to know. I would suggest keeping away from dodgy places where people invite you in, if that makes any sense. Where there's people like outside trying to get you in, or promise, say, come in for a free this or whatever, those sort of places. Generally, you'll be fine outside of the big cities, and generally you'll even be fine outside of places like Kabukicho in Tokyo. You'll be relatively fine, and definitely outside of the major tourist spots, you'll also be fine. But I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's a big issue. And sometimes, because Caroline actually sent me a photo, and I can't show you because I don't have it prepared, but Caroline sent me a photo of a yakiniku place that she went to, and it had a set menu in English at one price, and then it had a set menu in Japanese at a different price, at a cheaper price. But upon initially looking at it, you go like, oh my god, like they're charging more for tourists. But actually, when you go into the nitty gritty, if you go into the actual details, you actually realize that the Western one is more quantity of food. So they've basically, what they've done is they've said Western people eat more than Japanese people, so we'll make the Western menu 200 grams more of meat than the Japanese menu, which is 200 grams less of meat, and we'll charge a little bit more. And this is the thing that you need to sort of like look and analyze what's happening. And is that right? Is it wrong? What do you think, guys? Is that a good thing to do? Do you think it should just be completely the same? Are they taking the mickey? What are your thoughts? North Island, nice. I tried to check Google reviews before going some places new, but a couple of things to remember. Look at recent reviews, yes, and be aware of reviews by people who have only written one review. Yes. Hey, Tawada is in the house. I was thinking about you because I just put out a short about bears, and I know how much you love bears. I think if foreign tourists were treated like ethnic Korean and guest workers, they would never come again. Maybe, I wouldn't know. Are there many public phones in Japan? And are there payphones or free? I don't think they would be free. I don't think they would be free. There are a few. I wouldn't say there are. I don't look out for them. I'm not going to lie. So I'm not going to lie. Tawada is in the house. I've seen both touts and that target foreign visitors, but also touts that try to avoid any interaction with foreigners. Okay, interesting. I think they should just do the same to avoid confusion. Yeah, I think that is ultimately where I would go. No, like I would say, like I would agree with you. Instead of having a menu with which is 400 yen more or 500 yen more, but 200 grams more, how about having both menus the same, with both menus having an option where you pay 500 yen more for 200 grams more? You know, that would be fair. In essence, it would be the same thing. Guest workers, I'm guessing he's talking about like hotel workers, probably. Like if you're a guest at a hotel. Touts. Touts can be, yeah. Touts are not fun. I keep away from them. No, don't bother like even trying to interact with them unless your Japanese is very, very, very good. Like when I'm with Daingol. When I'm with Daingol in Tokyo, he likes to mess about with the touts because his Japanese is so freaking good that he can. But yeah, don't do it if you can't communicate. For sure. For shizzles, yeah. Any questions, guys? I am gonna end the stream soon-ish. It's been nearly an hour, so I will end it around the hour mark. Just giving you a little bit of a heads up here. We will be streaming again on Sunday, so don't worry. And yeah, so from Ninja Monkey. Kabukicho, the touts are usually English speaking. The African ones, indeed. Yes, I am very aware of them. I am traveling with 8 members of my family. American, Japanese, Korean, Spanish speakers. Really? That is awesome. That is very cool. Howdy. Hey, we're just about to end the stream, but hey, thanks for being here. Make it the same. A maybe good idea turns sour real fast if you're ultimately judging people by how they look. Who's foreigner, who's foreign, and who's native. Yeah, that is that when I mean we haven't even gone into the whole properly into the 2-tier price thing. But yes, that's gonna be, if it happens, it's gonna be very interesting. I had one chase me up a stair because out of the blue once I thought I was going to get into a fight, but he just wanted me to go to his place, whatever it was, dude. Wow. Enjoy your streams. Thank you, Hook. I'm glad that you do. I'm glad. I enjoy streaming. I think hopefully you can see that I enjoy doing this, and it means that you can also enjoy it because I enjoy it. Research. Shimakaze luxury train 5,000 yen Osaka to Toba Mie. Rode it on the way down, then car hire with my folding e-bike in the back. Well, maybe I can research it the other way around from Mie to Osaka, because I'll be going to Mie and then going to Osaka from Mie. But thank you for that. Always great to have some ideas. Is there a way to send pictures to you? Yes, of course. You can send a picture via Instagram, or you can join the Discord and send me a private message on Discord. The only thing is, I'm going to make it very clear, I don't tend to answer. If you send me a picture because I'm saying I've told you to, then obviously it's fine. But sometimes people ask me questions on Instagram, and I don't tend to answer a lot of things on Instagram, just because I'm really trying to streamline things and have people on Discord asking me questions, and have people on the stream asking me questions, and not have people asking me questions all over the place. But yeah. Hook, please do. What are you going to send me? It depends on the picture you're going to send me, by the way. Toba is not a pretty town, but it has the Mikimoto Pearl Museum, which is beautiful. Nice. Very cool. Well, guys, it is 1 hour mark. And what's the Discord? What? Look. So Discord is, if you go to my website or you press there, it's an app. It's a messenger app, and we have basically it's a community. So a lot of people that are here in the chat, they will also be part of the Discord, and then people ask questions. They can share photos. They can share itineraries. They can share whatever, and it's just one continuation of Happy Gaijin Stroke Ninja Monkey Happy Family on on Discord basically. But other than that, if you don't know what Discord is, then you can always send at Ninja Monkey Guy is my Instagram. Ninja Monkey Guy is my Instagram. So, okay. Guys, I'm gonna say goodnight here because I have to work tomorrow. And I've been working on this on a video. I don't think it's going to be ready this weekend. Unfortunately, it'll probably be ready the following weekend. It's a big one. It's a really freaking big one. Nothing like I've ever done before. It's it's literally like more like a tutorial, which I've never done a tutorial before. So it's a really good Discord, best I've ever been on. Seriously, thank you. I appreciate it. I love the fact that it's a positive place. I cannot stress enough what a great group of people there are on that Discord. I swear, like, I find it, I'm very blessed to have great people. Definitely. Stephen, take care, man. 30 minutes. Dash. Yeah, see you on Sunday. I wanted to also, before ending, I wanted to, and I don't think I have a, do I have, will this work? I'm not very sure, but I have a friend, Tokyo Drew. He's going through cancer treatment right now, and check out at Tokyo Drew to support him is all I'm going to say at the end of my stream. He's run out of money again. We raised some money, or he raised, or collectively we raised money, and I think he's run out of that and he's halfway through the treatment. So I'll be trying to help him out a little bit. Every now and then I do send some donations from some of my money, but yeah. Tommy is currently working. Nice. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your positivity and for encouraging me and for being here, even though I didn't really schedule the stream properly. It's been fun. It's been great. It's the middle of the week. You should count yourself lucky that you made it to the middle of the week. And now we can just chill. So, on that note, stay positive and be happy gaijin. Check out my main channel, Ninja Monkey, and my latest video updates with lots of really useful information and some interesting shorts that I've been working out on. And on my next my main channel on Ninja Monkey, I actually have a community tab, and I've been trying my best to put some interesting tips and information on there. So check those out too. Oh, there, I can't talk. Check those out too. Thanks everyone. Have a good evening. See you on Sunday. See you on the internet. See you on Discord.